final for junior and senior. Grenoble, known as the capital of the Alps because of its size and proximity to the mountains, one of Europe's most important technology and research centers. We're about an hour and a half southeast of Lyon. Hello everyone, I'm Ted Barton along with Mark Hanratty. We're back together to cover the Junior Grand Prix final. Mark, welcome on board.
Thank you, Ted, and so excited to see the very best of the best following the Junior Grand Prix series and the chance to see who will be crowned the Junior Grand Prix final champions over the course of the following weekend. And it's so exciting to be here as we see the site of this Patinoire Pôle Sud in Grenoble and to see so many of the most famous and celebrated skaters of our sport here to support the athletes that are taking place on the ice.
And we're live inside this arena, mentioned built in 2001 and has one of the best hockey teams in France. The rink built and used for the 1968 Winter Olympic Games does not exist anymore, at least as a rink, but this one does. And this is a perfect size for this event, Mark, and it's exciting to have the very best juniors in the world. We'll see the seniors as well, and it's so exciting as we take a look at some of the fans who have traveled from around the world.
Oh, and we've already, through the course of today, heard from fans literally that have traveled globally. There's the leader of Kevin Amos' fan group, and we've heard from fans from Australia as well that have traveled to support the athletes, and there's a sense of sincere excitement and anticipation of the event that's to come, and we're excited as much as the fans are too.
Yeah, we have so much fun covering the juniors over the series. Let's talk a little bit about, so the fans out there know a little bit about what is a series for the juniors and what's a series for the seniors. Now the junior series, of course, 7 weeks, and we work together on that. Sometimes we're on site together, sometimes we're remote and from the garage, and from your garage. And the senior series has only 6 weeks, a little bit.
Yeah, and it has been quite some time now since we saw the juniors compete on the Junior Grand Prix. That's a 7-week series of events, and that precedes the senior event. So it's been almost 2 months since we saw some of those Junior Grand Prix participants, and hopefully with that time since we last saw them, we'll be able to see the best of the best improving even upon what they delivered to secure their place here. And each of the participants in this final will have had to place within the top 6 ranked teams or skaters after that Junior Grand Prix series.
And we see the countdown on the video board there. You can see we're down to 53 seconds, and how exciting it is for us who've covered the Junior Grand Prix and some of the seniors as well to be here with the best and to be here live. It's such a difference.
And as much as we adore covering all of the events, we've both acknowledged today how exciting it is to sense the anticipation, and particularly perhaps for the juniors, some of whom haven't had the opportunity to compete at an event as prestigious as this.
So exciting when they come up to us, and they're excited to see us because they feel like we're a little bit of family here with the juniors too anyways. And so it's pretty exciting as we count down to 20 seconds remaining before we get this. The 2024 Junior Grand Prix Series started as we have the countdown starting to 10 now. And here we go. A new presentation, new introductions. The ISU looking towards 2030 vision with new ideas.
And the first team taking to the ice, Sei Shimizu and Lucas Tsuyoshi Honda, introduced to the arena. And now taking to the ice, the Canadian team of Julia Quattrocchi and Simon Desmarais. And now, perhaps the most excited of all the teams in this Junior Grand Prix final, the French couple of Romain Telemaque and Lucas Coulon, taking their moment to shine on home soil.
And here we go. They have a 6-minute warm-up now. Just to mention, you'll notice that the rink boards are a little bit different. They are a new LED screen rink boards, and you'll see them change, not during the performances, but in between the performances. They'll be announcing schedules. You saw that in the introductions as well. It's a new concept, a new idea that the ISU is just trying out, and it's part of a big list of new, exciting ways to present our sport and also the sport of short track as well. So kudos to the ISU for the efforts and the ideas. Some will make it and some will not, but you got to start somewhere as we take a look at Sei and Luca.
And as we see the Japanese team, who have some of the best side-by-side jumping passes indeed across junior and seniors. Both Sei and Lucas have some of the strongest individual jumping passes based upon their successes as single skaters prior to entering into the pairs discipline. And it's exciting to see their strength in that field as they continue to amass more confidence with the big pair elements.
Yeah, I watched them on the practice the first day, the side-by-side element, just extraordinary. Little working on the throws, they're not quite there yet, and the lifts are pretty good, but the solo elements at the top level.
And then to Julia and our partner Simon. And they are competing in their first Junior Grand Prix final. They finished in 3rd place in Gdansk at the Solidarity Cup and 4th place at Czech Skate in Ostrava. That has facilitated 20 points for them.
And this is a young developing team. I think maybe even find themselves a little surprised to be here. They're thrilled to be here, of course, and this is just another learning experience for Julia and Simon. So this will be exciting and nerve-wracking at the same time.
Coach Stephanie Valois, who's been seen on the Senior Grand Prix, as is the case for so many of the coaches who have students competing at this kind of level of competition. And now for Romain and Luca, what an opportunity for these skaters to skate not just in the final, but to skate in a final in their home country. And they've said that their goal for this event is to represent their country with dignity.
Well, it's interesting. There's just a little extra energy boost or nerve boost when you're at home. There's no question. You've made the final. You're here at home in France with television coverage, and you're not human if you don't feel something a little bit different.
And it's fascinating to see how the athletes will respond to that different level of pressure, because this is, especially in the Junior Grand Prix event, something that you cannot prepare for. You cannot replicate being at a final, being at the enormity of an occasion. Even for Luca and Romain, the concept of seeing all of the ISU officials, even for us, I'm conscious that there are an absolute army and abundance of ISU staff and workers here. The press conference area, it's all so much more grand than it would have been even at the already well-run Junior Grand Prix events.
Oh yeah, and there's no question. I mean, the Junior Grand Prix events start the season in August. It gets going, and it's a real highlight to get the season going. Senior Grand Prix is a step up, of course, because it's television. And now we have the final, the top skaters in both the juniors and the seniors here. And there's an elevated anticipation by these athletes. And for the juniors, what a wonderful experience, because it's not just what they learn from their skating, but they're watching the seniors. They're saying, that's my next stage. You know, how long will it take me to get there? We take a look at some of the fans.
And as we see the 6 skaters on the ice now, the participation at a final, there's such prestige in that. And obviously throughout the 7 stages of the Junior Grand Prix event leading towards this, many of them will of course aspire to be here. But one of the benefits of competing here, as you just so correctly pointed out, Ted, is not just participation on the ice, but the opportunity for them to see the world's best to come. So they will have seen Minerva Haza and Nikita Volodin, the Germans, and Sara Conti and Nicolo Macci, the senior pair teams, training this week, and that will have, I'm sure, inspired them, especially actually for the teams in this group who don't have that caliber of skater that they train with. Some of the other teams might train already alongside other such skaters, but for those on the ice currently, they don't have exposure to quite that level in day-to-day.
And you might draw an analogy towards graduating from, from public school to high school to university to your master's. Every new environment you get to brings a new excitement. Yes, it's studying different topics, different subjects, more difficult, of course, but it brings more emotions as you're growing up. So we're having younger skaters in the junior who are experiencing this for the first time, watching the senior skaters, some have experienced it for the first time. So it's really sort of a graduation process, right?
And actually, though, Ted, as we're watching the skaters on the ice, I see Sei and Luca and recognize that they do on occasion train with Miura and Kihara, former world champions from Japan. So they've been exposed a little bit to that kind of caliber, but there's nothing quite like an event for a different intensity of emotion and education.
Oh yeah, it does. It takes control of you, which you don't want.
Yeah.
You want to take control of the environment, but sometimes the environment takes control of you. But this is part of the process of learning.
And hopefully, what we so hope is that, of course, we wish the skaters to skate their best, but that this experience here inspires them to want to return to the training rink with more fervor and passion and intensity to improve to make it as a senior.
It invariably does. That's for sure.
Skaters, your warm-up has ended. Would you please clear the ice? Thank you.
And here we go. The beginning of the Junior Grand Prix final. Our first team represents Japan, 19-year-old Sei Shimizu and 22-year-old Luka Tsuyoshi Honda.
Both skaters have had injuries since the Junior Grand Prix, but have pushed through that and trying to showcase the improvements where they can.
Well, they have a season's best of 48.04 for the short program as they take to their starting position to get this event on its way. And they'll skate to Music Box and Swan Lake.
Japan's Sei Shimizu and Luka Tsuyoshi Honda open the entire Grand Prix final weekend with their short program, and a clean skate and smiles all around for the two youngsters as they vie to try to take over their personal best of 48.04 points.
I think that has to be a little nerve-wracking for them. I thought they were just a little tense, just a little bit. I did a nice job. They had some nice clean elements. Level 4 on the lift, level 4 on the double twist.
Impressive.
That'll open it. Yeah, that was impressive. And but still, it has to be a little nerve-wracking. First time out in the Junior Grand Prix final and first skaters.
And there's a sense of pressure and responsibility to open proceedings, and how nice to see the gratitude and respect they showcase, not just to the audience here, but to one another. And that will be a foundation for this team to carry through, showcasing respect to one another as they aspire to be competitive for years to come.
Foundation of every team.
Yes, yes.
Every team, so important that they support each other. Not on the good days. That's easy. It's on the tough days you need it the most to know that you're a team. And you can see that coming off the ice, with the items thrown onto the ice from fans and gifts. We see Mia Hamada, who is also very involved in single coaching, and Mao Shimada. We'll see her a little bit later. Well, let's take a look at some of the elements in the short program, Mark. Here's the twist. It's a level 4, so there's the split. Hands down to the side, good catch. This throw, triple Salchow. Not sure. Watch the rotation on the landing. And they've given that a clean. It's a minus GOE, so the quality is a little bit less. Losing a couple points there. This double axles, get that done nicely. They're strong solo skaters.
And I think even the entry, the counter change edge entry into those double axles showcases the technique that they've both had instilled to them that is so similar from their skating skills. What this team, of course, needs to continue to refine are their comfort in the pairs elements for not just the level, as we see here with the back outside death spiral, which struggles to achieve the level based on the lack of sustained position, but also the grade of execution quality. Here, within the side-by-side combination spin, we can see their prowess and confidence individually, and they still need to just continue to amass the unison throughout that element as they nod in agreement that that was a good start to their campaign, and they're eager, I'm sure, to cross the 50-point marker. That's a fairly prestigious score to have in the short program for a junior pair team, and should they do that, they could put themselves in contention of a medal-worthy position after the short program.
Well, let's take a look at the short program scores. For say Nduka, season best 50. They break that 50-point mark, and they're pleased with that. First team out. Good start to the event. Let's look at our next team. Represents Canada, 18-year-old Julia Botoki and 20-year-old Simon Desmarais.
And Julia and Simon want to showcase the confidence that they've gained since they last competed at the Grand Prix.
They have a 46.05. They'd like to beat that here right now, skating to never tear us apart.
Don't ask me what you know is true. Don't have to tell you I love your precious heart. I was standing, you were there. Two worlds collided, and they could now tear us apart. We could live for 1,000 years, but if I hurt you, I make way from it.
Canada's Julia Quattrocchi and Simon Desmarais complete their short program, and I talked about the confidence they wanted to showcase. Certainly the confidence was released in the landing the double axel with joy in the face of both of the athletes when that was accomplished.
And the throw triple Salchow.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about back outside death spiral. That is one of the more difficult death spirals. You'll see that in juniors here. And the woman's head has to be lower or at the same level of her knee. And so you didn't see that here, and he lost the pivot as well. So you're going to see perhaps some challenges in the back outside death spiral in juniors.
And the required back outside edge that we have to see in the short program for the juniors, unlikely to be the same edge that we see in the free skate when they're given more free rein, and they're more likely to choose an inside edge. That's easier for the tension between the partners to achieve the rotation to get a higher level.
Yeah, a different body position, you know, for the girls, for sure.
Not that I know. I understand it's significantly more difficult for the women on the back outside edge.
No kidding. Let's take a look at some of the elements. Here's the twist. There's the steps coming in. The hands go to the side for the man. Gets a catch. I don't think he got the catch. He got a level 3 on that double twist. Here's the double axles. Good unison on the takeoff. A little bit timing difference, but nice and, well, actually on the quarter. Yeah, they have it on the quarter. Here's the throw triple Salchow. Gets that done. Pulls that free leg back. Lifts the back up
And
in time.
I love, you know, seeing them have the relatively clean skate with that, because, you know, I kept referencing what they wanted to showcase based on the 2 months that they've had in training since their last Junior Grand Prix, and prove that all the hard work paying off. But as I keep saying, and we will say throughout the course of the event, you cannot replicate easily the pressure of an occasion like this, and they've risen to that occasion. As we look now just to see there was not sufficient rotation achieved within the back outside edge on that death spiral.
Yeah, you have to have one full revolution, as we can see, those spinning blades. But they look pretty pleased.
They do, and we saw their coach, Stephanie Valois, who works with Yvan Desjardins, and they are very conscientious about the support of the athletes as humans as well, the holistic approach to the support of these young people, and how lucky they are to have that.
They have a wonderful school of support for high-performance athletes. Let's take a look at the short program scores. 47.70. It is the season's best for Julia and Simon, and that'll put them currently into second place. Maybe hope for more, but got through this in a fairly clean fashion, except for the double, or except for the death spiral. Well, there are the hometown favorites: 14-year-old Romain Telemac and 18-year-old Luca Coulon.
And since the Junior Grand Prix, Luca fractured a small bone in his foot, but they're pushing through, not wanting to waste this amazing opportunity to compete on home ice. Telemaque and Lucas Coulon. So despite the injury, despite him having a fractured bone in his foot, the excitement and the desire to skate and represent their country at the Junior Grand Prix final in France has helped them to skate a clean skate.
I think you're going to see it in the replay. Some nice elements. Throw triple salchout was lovely. The Group 4 lift came in at a level 4. Back outside Despero, they had a level 2 on that. So I think they're going to be happy with the score. They have the season's best of 49.83.
And there we see Louis Taron, the choreographer, and Romain's mum, Emily Telemaque. And that will be the case for other competitors throughout the course of the final, to see coach doubling up as parent, or parent doubling up as coach, I should say.
As we put the glasses on to see. Okay, how does she see on the ice? Here we go. Here's the twist, steps coming in, hands to the side, good catch in the level 2, missing 2 of the features. Here's the throw triple salchout, nice pass through in the direction of travel. Watch the free foot touch right there. That'll be a slight reduction in the score. The double axles, nicely done, good flow, in and out.
I actually see a progression in the speed, particularly for Romain in the double axel. I thought she looked more confident since we saw that on the Junior Grand Prix.
Yeah, good lift, good turns by him, carrying that flow across the ice. That's a level 4. And that level 4 is the highest degree of difficulty you can get. And that lift.
And when we compare Romain and Lucas, it'll be interesting to see how that compares with the leaders, Seisha Mizu and Lucas Honda. I'd say that the components were a little bit stronger, skating skills were stronger for the Japanese team, but the technical score for Romain and Lucas higher. How does it all compare?
Well, they want to beat that 49.83. That's their season's best so far. And they have done it with a 51.34. It's a season's best, and they're thrilled. They're currently in first place. 3 teams to come. Joy, great joy in the kiss and cry.
They gave us great reactions in the kiss and cry on this series, and I think we're going to be treated to even more of that this weekend.
Yeah. That's the pure joy, particularly of the juniors.
Yes.
You see it also in the seniors, but a little bit more raw in the juniors.
Raw, yeah, unfiltered.
Yeah, unfiltered.
And we love to see it.
And there's a look at the standings after the first group. Get introduced to group number 2.
Now let's introduce our skaters in warm-up group 2.
As we
of the
get
junior
ready to
pair
see the
short
next group
program.
of 6 skaters, 3 more pair teams.
Representing United
We see the
States
first of the teams that have
America,
already had the
Olivia
experience of
Flores
competing
and
at
Luke
a
Wong.
Junior Grand Prix final. Here, the charismatic and very fun team of Olivia Flores and Luke Wang, representing the United States of America.
Representing Canada, Jasmine
There's the
DeRocher
second Canadian
and
team.
Kieran Thrasher.
Jasmine DeRocher, Kieran Thrasher. They had a really good season, silver and gold.
Representing People's Republic of China, Jiashuang Zhang
And now to the
Yihan
highest
Wang.
ranked team coming into this event, undefeated on the Junior Grand Prix Series, China's Jia Zhuan Zhang and Yihang Huang.
Pretty special.
Skaters, you have a 6-minute warm-up.
And actually it's interesting for these 6 skaters, because the introduction onto the ice here in Grenoble in France is slightly different to anything that we saw on the Junior Grand Prix series, whereby the skaters are welcomed from backstage, and that in itself is just another different facet to come to terms with. It's exciting, but it's different, and that's, again, not something you can prepare for.
Well, they're looking at the tunnel. You know, they used to bring the all 6 on, put them in the middle of the ice, and now they're coming out of the tunnel and putting them all at the end of the ice. They're trying to figure out what is the best way to introduce in a short period of time, giving everybody enough time to warm up and whatnot, but sensationalize it as well. So I really applaud the effort that's being made. We'll find out what all settles in time, but...
And as we look at Luke Wang from the United States of America, you feel, you sense that as the skaters are welcomed on from backstage, it's almost more like a big, exciting boxing match, and hopefully...
a boxing match.
well,
Nice
we'll head
cut.
into the ring.
2/3
But you almost hope, though, that whilst that's perhaps a little bit more nerve-inducing, that it helps these skaters to feel as special as they are, because these are the top 6 pair teams in the junior figure skating community. They deserve to be celebrated and applauded, as Drew Meekins and Coach Natalia Mishkatinik.
It's interesting that when you said that, I was thinking to myself that, you know, what is it like for these skaters to feel, because some of them don't think, I mean, they're good, they're really, they're excellent, we know that. They may not think of themselves as that good, and then they're in this big show and they feel even more nervous, right? They need this exposure, because this is the reality of high performance figure skating.
And that's particularly important to take a moment to celebrate, because as we see Kieran Thrasher, who alongside his partner Jasmine Desrochers, they train with former world champions, they train with a coach who's taught lots of world medalists, so perhaps for them they are constantly competing with.
Yeah, and he was a great hockey player.
Yeah,
this young man, and he switched. He's like that movie, right? Like that movie he switched into figure skating and has done extremely well.
So they will train with the comparison daily of people that are better than them, but right now they're here because they're some of the absolute best in the world on the junior pairs community. So take a moment to pat themselves on the back.
Absolutely. Take a look at the team from China. They were absolutely excellent, particularly in their first win, which I think was in Riga, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
probably at this point, we'll see what happens, but probably the more all-rounded team, you know, with all the elements really strong. But hey, you know, things can happen. We'll see.
And the reason that we can confirm that is that the starting order for this short program is based upon the ranking coming into this event, and Zhang and Huang were the only team undefeated on the Junior Grand Prix this series. They won, as you said, Ted, in Riga and then again in Gdansk in Poland. And if they could go on to win this Junior Grand Prix final, it would be the first time in over a decade since a Chinese skater or team won a Junior Grand Prix final, and they come in as favorites.
And let's talk a little bit about that. I was in Wuxi, and you were covering from your garage, from your studio at home. The depth of Chinese skating in the lower categories is extraordinary. We hadn't seen through COVID a lot of Chinese skaters, of course, and but it was extraordinary. So I think that we're seeing a whole new generation in all disciplines. They used to be pair strong, right? But now they are strong, at least in the junior category, in both the women's and the men's, and the pairs and the dances coming along really nicely as well. So that's going to be interesting to see how that develops.
Yes, and upon researching some of the participants in the women's event, the Chinese representative in the women's event, as we see some young skaters looking on, they were referencing the selection of Beijing, China, as the Winter Olympic host in 2022 as part of the reason that they took to the sport. The build-up to that Olympic Games brought some excitement and support and regeneration in the winter sports in China, and now we're seeing perhaps some of the fruits of that.
When we were in Wuxi, we knew that there was a test day for skaters skating, and there were 2,000 skaters in that test day.
Wow.
I thought I heard, I could have this wrong, I totally could have this wrong, but there was a competition which they had something like 8,000 entries. Like, it's crazy how many skaters they've got engaged, but we know that the build-up to Beijing in 2022 was a big movement within China to get youth involved in Olympic sports, and in that case, the winter sports. And we think we've seen it pay off.
Yes. It'll be interesting to see, perhaps as we head towards especially with the skaters on the ice, the next Olympic cycle. So for many of those that will watch throughout the course of this weekend, we'll be referencing 2026, the Milano Cortina Olympics. But for the skaters such as these being supported here, as we see more of the audience, perhaps the skaters, their focus perhaps in the long-term athlete development will be towards 2030 in Nice in France.
And speaking of the next Olympic Games coming pretty close to this area.
Yes. And we've been talking with members of the organizing committee for the Milano Cortina, Anna Capellini, the world ice dance champion from Italy. She's here supporting the skaters, and she's been discussing with us some of the preparations alongside other organizing members of that, and that's already underway. And
you could hear in the voice the excitement, but also the stress, because I've been through the games in Vancouver in 2010, and with all of my colleagues and friends and staff that we work with, and it's so exciting, but it's so nerve-wracking because there's just a lot of pressure in preparing for games, and it's not like a normal figure skating competition. It's the Olympic Games, and it's bigger than anything we could ever do in figure skating. So there's a lot going on, that's for sure. And these athletes on the ice now, and we'll see the rest of juniors, we'll see them, as you mentioned, like in 5 years from now.
Yes.
The next games.
Oh, and there's the youngest audience member.
And that's going to be maybe 4 games from now, or 5 games from now. Our first team represents the United States of America, 17-year-old Olivia Flores and 20-year-old Luca Wang.
And this team had the experience of being Junior Grand Prix finalists before, and they said that they have learned from that last year. They've been able to utilize the time since their last Junior Grand Prix event.
Season's best, 54.93. They'll start skating to Golden Slumbers.
America's Olivia Flores and Luke Wang complete their short program.
Avar, as we see Drew Meekins, the coach, did you notice that beautiful shot of Olivia's smile as she starts this passion of, gosh, I love doing this?
Yeah, just
right at the top of the program.
Beautiful, beautiful moment. And nice to see that that smile is then framing the program at the end.
Exactly.
After a relatively clean skate. Not the absolute perfection for the team, but rising to the pressure. And you can see with this performance a standard leap as we head to the higher ranked teams. More quality of skating skills, more flow, more speed.
Look at their talking coming off the ice. And, you know, when you see the pure joy in a skater's face under a nerve-wracking moment, you know how much they love that. That is terrifying as it can be on one end, it brings so much joy on the other.
And it
that
really is a privilege.
Right there, there it is. It's beautiful. Anticipation. Let's take a look at the twist. Watch the landing here. She'll touch the shoulders. That right there. Grabs at the back of his back. That would be a feature if she didn't, but she did. And so it's a level 3, or level 1, pardon me, on that twist. Here's a look at the group 4 lift. This is a level 3, so missing one feature here. I'm not sure which feature it was. There's that back outside death spiral, Mark, which is so difficult, comes in a level 2. And the double axels, Mark, nicely done.
Good camera angle for us to see not just the good technique matchup, but the joy again splayed across the face of Olivia. And as we look at Olivia now, we just see her spinning, another chance to see the lack of synchronicity, which forces that negative creative execution on the change foot combo spin. But it'd be wonderful for them not just to be here, but to have both of their coaches at this event. Natalia Mishkitinik, Olympic champion, alongside Drew Meekins, and I think the reason they've got both their coaches is because they've got responsibility for Ellie Cam and Danny O'Shea in the senior event as well.
Good luck, Ellie and Danny, later.
He heard me.
Here we go. Let's take a look at the short program scores for Olivia and Luke. The season's best is a 54.93. This is a 52.04, falling just a bit short of their season's best. But that will put them, for the moment at least, into first place, 2 teams to come.
They are currently first.
On the ice, our next team, representing Canada, 18-year-old Jasmine DeRoche and 20-year-old Kieran Thrasher.
And Jasmine and Kieran will skate to the Amelie soundtrack, a program that they used last season as well, but beautifully choreographed and beautifully skated, we hope.
Looking to top their score from Ankara, Turkey, on the Junior Grand Prix of 59.41.
Jasmine DeRoche and Kieran Thrasher.
Now, don't let that fall, okay? It gets its reduction, it gets its deduction, but some of the other items in here, a level 4 back outside death bar. We haven't seen that yet in the event. A level 4 lift, of course, and the triple twist at level 4. Wow, Not the double twist, the triple twist at a level 4. Those are senior quality element.
Those are stats that some of the most accomplished seniors would be quite happy to come off the ice to receive from the technical panel. You can see the disappointment though from Jasmine. One of her coaches, Megan de Hamel, explaining how much focus has been on the landing of the throw triple. She went for 1 foot,
Yeah.
which has been an issue in the past, but of course the risk didn't pay off on this occasion.
She's in the middle of the process of learning when to check out and how to stabilize that landing. It's not there yet consistently. Let's take a look at the twist. There's the split, the hands to the side, nice clean catch, and steps going in. Level 4, the double axles. That was nice.
And
Yeah, that's
such
solid.
progression in that.
Yeah. Look at how calm she is up on top, flying through the air.
And that's, well, here we look at the throw.
Watch a little bit too far forward here and slips off the toe pick there. It just didn't start that checkout early enough. It's okay, it's in process.
And with Coach Bruno Marcotte looking on, developmentally, as we're looking at juniors, of course, perhaps under the pressure of competition, going for the obvious 1 foot as opposed to playing it safer and going for a 2-footed landing will be something that they will recognize in the development of this team. But what I see over the course of the past 2 seasons is the indisputable progression that they've made across both the tech score and the components, looking so senior now.
And they have something special together. And as they solidify all the technical elements and explore the programming, it's only going to get better. This is a very strong team. 59.41 is their season's best. Probably not going to match that here with that fall, but this team continues to grow and gain experience. And they'll adapt into seniors quite nicely whenever that might be. 55.28 for Jasmine and Kieran. And that will put them currently into first place with 1 team to come.
In the short program, 55 points, 28. They are currently first.
That's what I mean. It's really good stuff. 26 components.
Our next team represents China. 17-year-old Xi Zhuangjiang and 22-year-old Yihang Wang.
And as we mentioned in the warm-up, it's been over a decade since a Chinese skater won a Junior Grand Prix final. They come in as the highest ranked team.
57.88, their season's best. They'll skate to Dive by Ed Sheeran.
Maybe I came on too strong. Maybe I waited too long. Maybe I played my cards wrong. Oh, still. Maybe I apologize for it. I could fall or I could fly here in your plane. And I could live, I could die hanging on the words you say. And I've been known to give my all and jumping in harder than 10,000 rocks on the lake. So don't call me baby unless you mean it. And don't tell me you need me if you don't believe
Jiazhuan Zhang and Yihang Huang from China.
You know, Mark, the choreographer, Wei Jing Shui, of course, Olympic champion, and you can see her work with the Jiazhuan in just the maturity and the performance and the emotion. You can see that slowly coming out of this young woman in juniors, and it's quite extraordinary because you usually don't see that until they're getting to seniors. But you saw the experience of an Olympic champion on this young junior.
And I think that is something that I'm very conscious of, this team's progression since we saw them. Remembering it's almost 2 months since they last competed at the Solidarity Cup in Gdansk on the Junior Grand Prix, and it's the components, the skating skills, the presentation, which seems to have been accelerated in that time, and rightly so. They've obviously taken heed of their scores made on Junior Grand Prix.
Yeah. There's a twist. Just level 2, so missing 2 of the features. No, actually just bumped up to level 3. Here's the double axles. This was beautifully done, on time, together. Good flow.
And as we look at the back outside death spiral, you can see what this means to the skaters. So many of the athletes just signaling their joy when they land either the throw or the axle here. Off axis,
but saved. And that we talked about knowing when to check out, knowing how to hold that back.
And there, just the tilt of the head to exude some expression. The openness of the mouth, just trying to engage the presentation component score. As too does the fingertip extension.
There is a very visual increase in quality overall of this program, and even though some of the elements, I think Jasmine and Kieran had beaten them on the twist, I think it was, and on the lift or whatever, but overall this is a stronger performance, stronger team at this stage. Season's best 62.94. That is a great score for this team, and that puts them currently into first place. Nicely done.
And a big ISU PB for the team, and a big margin that they hold over the other 5 teams after the short program first stage of the event.
And you could see that coming in the Junior Grand Prix. You saw the quality of this team, even though it was maybe a little rougher earlier on in the season. But as we take a look at the final standings here, the 62.94, Jasmine and Kieran with a 55.28, Olivia and Luke with a 52.04, your top 3 teams so far. The free program coming up a little later in this event. Oh, it was a great start.
A really good start, an exciting start, and just paves the way for lots more excitement yet to come. We are being treated to the absolute best junior and senior skaters on the circuit this season.
And it's funny how it feels sort of like, okay, is that it?
I know,
Like,
we're used to so many more.
But particularly in juniors, not necessarily in pairs, although we've had, I think, up to 18 or something. But, you know, when you get into the women and we're at 38 and 39, it's good 5 or 6 hours. So we just sort of get into it and then it's over, right? So we'll see a few highlights in just a moment.
First category with amazing performances of all 6 couples.
And it does feel a little bare, perhaps, in some of the warm-up groups for the pairs and ice dancers. As we look back at the highlights from the top 3 performances, I look back at Olivia Flores and Luke Wang, the World Junior silver medalists, finding themselves in 3rd place after the short program. And that 2 spots higher than they were at the Junior Grand Prix final 12 months ago in Beijing. Just touching distance of the next team.
Here's a look at 18-year-old Jasmine DeRoche, 20-year-old Kieran Thrasher of Canada. Great twist, level 4, nicely executed. And this team continues to gain experience. They're just 2 years into their partnership. He was a great hockey player and a former pair skater with another partner. She's new to this discipline, but it doesn't look it. She rides high. And this is the one element that had its challenge, but it's under construction in a very strong way.
And now to the leaders by some significant margin, Jiazhuan Zhang and Yihan Huang, a team who are exploiting the age change rules this year. Now men in the pairs event in the junior category can be up to 23 years old. Previously it was 21, and that a chance to allow them to continue in their partnership, amassing experience as juniors before heading to the senior ranks.
Well, that concludes our coverage of the junior pairs short program. Up next will be the junior women's short. I hope you'll stay with us for that because there's some dynamic skaters, some great competitors, some beautiful artists coming right up, right after this.